Hi TIs, how's it going? So, I, like many of you, have just found out about the passing of Phil Leek. So, I wanted to make a quick video to discuss various things. Firstly, I thought I would like to just talk about Phil for a little bit. I, like you, met him through the internet, through the targeting program. I didn't know him very well, only met him online, but I tell you something, it felt like I had known him a lifetime. I felt that he had been a friend of mine for years and years and years. I could have turned round and trusted him with my life. That is the energy that I felt from Phil. He was an absolutely gorgeous person inside and out. He was lovely, so approachable. He was a friend. The first impressions that I'd got from Phil was that they were really getting to him. I remember watching some of his videos and he seemed to be sort of shaking, so I didn't know if that was the technology or the combined effects of this awful medication that he didn't need to take, but I got the impression that they were really beating down hard on him. We spoke a few times. He mentioned that he was taking, pills that he didn't, well, I thought he didn't need to take. I think it's quite clear he didn't need to take them. But he felt that he had been in such a situation for such a long time, and even though he was massively strong on the outside, they were getting to his mind. And in a way, looking back at it now, you can see perhaps he was one of the weaker ones because they were getting to his mind so badly. But I had no idea he was at such risk. One of the best things that I've known about Phil in his recent life, in the last years of his life, was his music. And one of the songs that he made, I would like to bring to your attention because I think it was so talented, it was so good, it was genius, his song. And it's on his YouTube channel. It's called What We Doing. And it's a rap that he made. And it is an absolute fantastic rap. So I'm going to put a link to that rap in the video description below if you want to hear it. I've never forgot that song. It's an absolutely brilliant song. I also remember Phil was drinking a lot at the time, and apparently he stopped drinking. So he must have got himself even more together. So I'm trying to work out how on earth this murder is supposedly being explained. I feel like I never want to lose Phil. I never want to lose his memory, and I never want to forget this moment. And I don't want him to go down as somebody else in history. Phil has to live on somehow. And that's why I've been talking to a few other TIs recently and meeting new TIs as a result of Phil and connecting back with some other TIs as well, which is good. But I don't want to talk about Phil as though he was just somebody who's now gone. Phil shouldn't have ever been gone. Phil should be here now. So, there are a lot of issues that I would like to discuss relating to Phil. Firstly, I'd like to just say what happened to me when I found out about Phil. So, I think it was it the Thursday? I mean, I don't know yet what day this happened, but I found out on the Thursday, so that was the 27th of June. And as soon as I found out, I was just about to send a message to another TI friend that I had, and I was talking to another TI friend at the time, just about to send another message to another TI, and they cut my electricity off for 4 hours, just over 4 hours. So what they tried to do is give me this news about Phil and then put me in a trauma, locked me into some kind of trauma chamber for hours, so I couldn't speak to anybody, I couldn't speak to any other TIs, I couldn't find out any more information. I was in disbelief for a very long time. Okay, so what I'm going to discuss quickly now is the experiences I've had with the Bible following the news about Phil. Now, it would be very, very cruel of me indeed to lie about this information following Phil's passing. I wouldn't want to hurt anybody, the family members or anything like that. I am not lying. I have tried to explain what's been going on with my particular experience in terms of these occult experiences. So, what's been happening is that I have been opening pages at the Bible at random, completely at random, and they've been saying things that have been relevant to what's been happening. In a previous video, I tried to explain that I had been opening the pages at random just by flicking through the pages by hand, and because it had become so uncannily coincidental, I upped my randomness by getting these little balls in a bag and numbering them, and then shaking the bag and then pulling balls out of the bag to determine different page numbers. Then I would open that page number in the Bible, because there is no way that anybody could have checked my brain or checked anything that I was doing. It was completely at random. So what I did following finding out about Phil is I consulted the Bible. The numbers that fell out were 0 and 1, which is the first page number, and then it was 684. So I opened the Bible firstly at page 684, 0684, and then I opened the Bible at page 1684 because both a 0 and 1 had fallen out. The first page that I opened at 684 was the first book of Chronicles, chapter 20, passage 4. And this, at the top of the page, I can take a picture of it. It said, "War with the Philistines." Now, when I spoke to a TI friend, she said, "Well, what does the Philistines got to do with anything?" And I said, it's not just the Philistines, it's the name Phil. Phil are the first letters that are in the word Philistines. And the passage said, "In the course of time, war broke out with the Philistines at GEZER. At that time, Sibbecai the Hushathite killed Sippai, one of the descendants of the Rephaites, and the Philistines were subdued." Now, when I read this, I felt that God was telling me that it was true. I was in disbelief. I was like, God, come on, this can't be true. Not beautiful, precious, lovely friend, amazing person, Phil. And when I opened this book, the Bible, the first thing that it said was war with the Philistines. And I'll take a picture so you can see that it was at the top of the page. So for me, at that point, when my electricity had been cut off and I couldn't speak to anybody else and I couldn't verify if it was true, I knew it was true. I then opened it to page 1684. That had been saying something else about, which had relevance to another issue that's been going on. But one of the points that was on the other page, which was 1685, was living sacrifices. So anyway, after reading that on Thursday, I then opened the Bible again on the 28th of June, which was the Friday. And I decided to open the Bible again using the randomized method with the balls that I have in the bags. And this time it came out as page 1621. So I opened the Bible at page 1621. And you know what one of the headings was in that page? Philip in Samaria. Now, there were many different ideas and concepts that have been mentioned in the Bible on those pages, and it would take me quite a few hours to explain those things, but I'll happily try to do that in the future. But what I feel so quite clearly is that Phil's death has been recognised by God. Now, if I just read some of the ideas and concepts that were written on those pages, one of the first things that I noticed was that in the first sentence, when it's talked about the war breaking out with the Philistines, it mentioned the word GEZER. Now, for all people who know the English language, Cockney language, sort of slang language, GEZER means a real great gentleman, doesn't it? You know, it could be, well, firstly, it could be a word for just meaning a guy or a man, but it can also mean, he was a geezer. And I actually really happy when I saw that word, because Phil was a geezer. He was a great guy. Another point that I had noticed on the other page, which was 1684, It said, "May their eyes be darkened so they cannot see, and their backs be bent forever." And when I read that, it kind of made sense. It was like, they are bent, and Phil wasn't bent. Phil was a real geezer. And a lot of this targeting ties in with paedophilia and dysfunctional sexuality. And Phil wasn't that way. Phil was a healthy, strong, real man. And I felt that when I read those words in the Bible, that those concepts were tying in to why, one of the reasons why Phil was targeted. He was targeted because he was strong. He was targeted because he was healthy and normal, because he was a real man. And they are so jealous. So I won't say much more for now, apart from the fact that, Phil, we all love you, and our love for you will not change. Our love for you is exactly the same as it was when you were alive. You will live on forever with us. We will love you forever, and may your spirit be with us forever, and may you not die in vain. We can't forget Phil. We can't just say, well, now he's gone and hope everything's okay and look forward to the future. Phil should never have left. The loss that I feel, the loss that I can sense in knowing that he's gone is indescribable. I still can't comprehend that he's gone. Phil has been recognised, I believe, by God through the Bible. And I've got a feeling that this is not the end of the magic that we will see because of Phil Leek. I love you, mate. God bless you. Stay with us always, please. I know things are coming to a head at the moment. I'm really sorry, by the way, to all the people that I said I'd be in contact with, helping them with the legal stuff, and I haven't followed up. And I tell you why. Not because I'm, being lazy or in some kind of daze. It's because my finances. I've got no finances. I've had to try and secure myself, basically, and give myself a bit of a foundation. One of the things that I was going to put out there is that if people want me to help them with their legal stuff, I'm going to have to make sure that I'm going to have an income from that. Not because I'm trying to rob anybody, but the thing is, what I'm really worried about is if I start working on this legal stuff and then they completely cut off my income, I'm going to be left high and dry. So one of the issues for me is that, yes, I'd love to work on the legal stuff. What I don't want to do is get caught out by it. I'm not talking about the legal fees that anybody else is used to. I've got a really low rent at the moment. It's just in the couple of hundreds. But as long as I can meet my rent obligations, I'm fine, So, yeah, I've got the legal training. I'm ready to go. But I've got to make sure that I'm financially secure. And I will be financially secure for however long is necessary for all these things to take place, So, that's why I've been not doing much on the targeted side, but looking at my finances for a while. There were also a few other reasons as well, in terms of my ability to withstand any repercussions as well. But obviously the finances is a huge thing in withstanding the repercussions. I'm just coming through that at the moment, but I still haven't got any finances secured, so yeah. But as I say, that's not to try and take money off anybody at all. If you don't know me yet, then fair enough, but that's not what I'm like. It's literally making sure that I don't get caught out penniless and then thrown out on the street homeless kind of thing. Basically, at the moment, I'm stuck on a very flimsy income stream at the moment that could be cut off at any second, which is in their hands. But if I could migrate to a more secure income stream with genuine targeted individuals who have a bit of cash, real low sums, but who are able to help me, then I can migrate to that income stream and I'd be basically, out of their income flow thing. So, so that's just another thing I'm putting in this video as well. But I'm still on the scene. I don't want to be in this situation again. I feel that Phil's death was for various reasons. One of the reasons was perhaps to trigger the rest of us. And if Phil was degraded to be just some kind of motivation, to be a flippant motivation, he was People are so much more than that. So I really hope that this murder does not go down as some kind of accidental death. I hope this murder leads to the full discovery of the abuse that he was receiving. He was supportive, he supported me, he made me feel better. You know, he tried to make me feel better. He was there for me. He was a kind, warm person. We must never forget Phil, and we must never let him go.